Hey, how's it going? I like blood. I'm a vampire, as you can see. My two fangs.